Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. It's getting closer to Christmas, which is lovely, and I'm going to be joined by Daisy today, who's coming from a kitchen, which is great. I mean, that looks like it's fully loaded in terms of kitchen utensils and instruments. I, I find that a fascinating background. It's making me feel quite hungry, though, at the same time. So we're going to talk to Daisy about her life in music in a minute. I'm going to play you first the wonderful video that we always open with from Analog Trash, and I shall open a packet of crisps while we're doing that because I'm so hungry.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Lovely. Oh, they were rather nice. Would you like one?
Oh, what flavor you got?
Well,
Sensations.
well, do you see? They're not though. I thought they were because look how clever that packaging is.
Oh, selections.
Selections. Yes.
Okay.
So a closer inspection shows me that this is actually the one of the budget supermarkets of choice, their own version of the other thing. See, there you go.
Gotcha. Change the letter. That's fine.
I honestly thought that was exactly what you thought it was as well to begin with. There we go. Have you ever been imitated?
Have I been imitated? Well, there's often profiles set up online, fake Daisy Chute profiles online.
Do you get that?
I do get that quite regularly, and they comment underneath my sort of fans' comments and sort of start trying to sell them merchandise that I haven't made and all this kind of thing.
See?
But it's fine. Easily blocked, and but it is annoying that it keeps happening, and more it seems as well. So
there you go.
yeah.
It might be the same people that design that. You never know. It's probably not. It's not the case. It's not the case. Tell me, listening to your if someone goes on to your Bandcamp or has a listen through your profile and has a listen to your music, it's quite varied in terms of how energetic your material is that you put out there. Some of it's quieter, some of it's really quite energetic. Are you quite in terms of life, are you quite like that? Do you have sort of like quiet times, quiet moments, and then quite energetic moments? Are you quite an up and down person?
Yeah, interesting. Are you asking me if I'm on a spectrum of some sort?
I wasn't, but if you were,
spectrum.
if you are, then that's that's all good.
No. I mean, well, not in a kind of clinical way at least, but and certainly in terms of my music tastes and my energy, I kind of have quite a lot of dynamism within like my music, and even within a song as well. I will often, I love kind of stripping it back and then going full pow with it as well. So I quite like that contrast, and I like that shift of energy. And I try not to make anything too predictable, or let anybody have a moment to yawn.
Yeah.
Might give them a moment to cry occasionally, but like I kind of try and keep everybody on their toes a bit. So yeah,
I'd say when you go more uplifting in your music, it's quite anthemic and it's quite, I'm going to use the word worshipful here. I mean, I get a sense that it could almost be if you went to like a Hillsong's church. Do you know where I'm going with this?
oh,
right?
Hillsong,
Yeah. That it could be sort of that kind of vibe going on there. Did you have any upbringing in church? Did you ever go to church as a young person?
Yeah, I mean, actually, my sort of starting out musically, I was a choir girl when I was 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so I did a lot of sacred music. I would sing 6 services a week. So
Whoa.
definitely, almost like a full-time gig really.
Mm.
So that definitely would have shaped a lot of my music influence. Yeah, and I suppose, yeah, and there's part of me that loves that kind of uplifting, as you say, anthemic thing. And that's cool that that's something you hear in it as well, because that feels to me like a lifetime ago now, like, and I don't really see the correlation between then and now, but I can see how, yeah, I can see how that is cool that you can hear that. It's great.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Did I have a background that? Yeah, I did. I kind of grew up on Graham Kendrick and what was it? Delirious. Delirious were massive as a band growing up. That kind of side of things as well. I'm trying to remember what the other guy's name was that wrote loads and loads of sort of the more up tempo Christian songs that were played in church. Matt Redman.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Trying to dive back into my memory of things,
I'm impressed at your recall. I'm terrible with names, so.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting time growing up. I mean, I grew up. I was born in 1971, so I'm a bit older than you. But I sort of think growing up at that sort of time and being taken to church every week, it was quite interesting because church was transitioning from the hymn book, as it were, and so there was a real big mix between, the traditional solemn songs of, sort of evening song and whatever, and the Wesley hymns and whatever, the big hymns, and then this stuff as well. And we've had a lot of people on here that grew up. They may not, be religious anymore or whatever, but they had a part of their growing up experience, and part of their music experience was to grow up in a church. And I think it teaches you a lot. For a start, it's really good in terms of learning how to sing harmony. Because you sing a lot of harmonies in church, and B, because quite often you will stand next to Doris, who is completely tone deaf and singing at the top of her lungs, and you have to be able to hold a note whilst singing next to somebody who, frankly, can't sing. So yeah. I think that's a real skill set that you kind of learn in that sort of environment that you perhaps don't learn somewhere else.
I would say so as well. Yeah, a lot. I mean, and then now I can't stop singing harmonies whenever there's anything to harmonize on. So I guess it came from that. Yeah.
Outside of that, where were your other influences music-wise? I mean, I saw that on your Bandcamp you've got Joni Mitchell, River, a cover that you've done, etc. Was she quite a big influence? I love that song, by the way. Absolutely love that song. Who was the first? Actually, I'm going to be honest and absolutely honest with you here as well.
Okay.
Her version of River wasn't the first version of River that I heard. Interestingly.
No? Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people have covered it. Yeah, so that's not surprising.
Yeah. So
who was the first version?
I'm gonna try and remember that whilst you're talking to me.
Sure. No worries. Yeah, no, fair enough. So for me, yeah, I mean, obviously Joni is in there for sure. I kind of discovered her, in my teens, I think. Before that, though, I'd listened to a lot of the music playing around the house. I'm actually in the home I grew up in here in Scotland. I actually live down in London these days, but I'm up here visiting for Thanksgiving, which is today. My mum's American, and so that makes me half American. Wow. And we would play a lot of songs from the Great American Songbook, jazz standards, and also musicals,
nice.
That kind of thing growing up. So I have a lot of music on, and we would always be singing. In fact, we didn't have a radio in the car, so we would sort of become the radio. We would just be singing the whole time. And then it would, so I'd be listening to, records of that kind of thing. My mum's a painter, and she painted a lot to Ella Fitzgerald and Chet Baker and all these kinds of great singers from jazz canon, basically, and who'd sing jazz canon music. I mean, sorry. So
Mm.
I would have a lot of that growing up. At the same time, I'd be going and doing these choir rehearsals and services, and so that would be this very classical background too. And I kind of had these competing a little bit sometimes as well with like some teachers who would be sort of calling anything that wasn't classical music naughty music and this kind of idea that I was sort of like betraying the classical world by singing anything that wasn't opera or choral. But I always had this kind of this like tension between these different genres growing up, but also loving all of it and wanting to do it all and not wanting to choose. And that's kind of how my life is reflected as well. And as a musician, as an adult, I have managed to find lots of different jobs within all these genres, and in fact they've helped one another and helped me become a more employable musician, because I have all these different skills and experiences of different genres. So one day I'll be singing a choir piece, for something at Abbey Road Studio, and then the next day I'll be singing my own music to a small folk club. And it's just, I like the variety of that, and I like the fact that I persevered with all the different interests I had.
I like that too. I find it hard to believe that anybody would be quite like that these days. I think we've probably now moved away from that, in that I certainly know that I heard that when I was growing up as well, that that's bad music,
Yeah, it's true.
That's the devil's music. Or certainly, at school it was like I did have one or two music teachers very early on who were like, so kind of stuck in their ways when it came to music and any sort of purist forms of music, as that's only good music. I have to say though, I had some really great music teachers at school as well, who and we've talked about that on this show before, that I had one teacher that played things like Pink Floyd and really experimental stuff as well in lessons, and kind of opened my eyes to just what was out there, really, and was just as fascinated about sound as he was about notes, and I loved that. So I think it depends. Now, very quickly, let's go back to this river thing very quickly. So it was Madeleine Perrault. There you go. I don't know why I forgot that.
Her. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even think why I forgot that. But let's just go through some of the other people that have done River, because this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And you can kind of weigh them up and tell me who you would actually go, oh yeah, I really like them, and maybe not with others. So you've got it's such a long list. You've got Travis. I've done it.
Oh. Yeah, I genuinely love Travis, but never heard their version of this. But
I know, I'm actually
Scotland. I'm a fan of Travis.
Yeah, I'm quite intrigued to actually hear that now. Herbie Hancock and Corinne Bailey.
Yes, now this version I 100% recommend. It's a beautiful version, and I love that one. Yeah.
You've got Katie Melua, Tom Chaplin, from Keane.
Yeah.
Which great voice.
Yeah. Totally.
Indigo Girls.
Right.
Lizzie, great voice again. Linda Ronstadt, great voice. Yeah. CeeLo Green. Oh, that's got to be good, isn't it?
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. I'm running round town with a girl I love. I'm not quite sure how that fits in, but there we go. Ronan Keating. Ronan Keating, which I can imagine's, produced. Ben Platt. Ellie Goulding.
Again? Oh yes, I have heard her. She got to number one with it a few years ago at Christmas, and I feel like I think that's partly why I wanted to record it, was because I had been doing it for years, and I was thinking, I better just like actually make a record of this. So I did it finally last year and I pulled in some favors and got a whole string quartet arranged and recorded, and it's beautiful arrangement by a friend of mine, Max. And I'm just so glad I finally got a recording of it done, because it's been something I've been doing every year anyway for years. So now there's like a record of it. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard though to touch those songs that have been so loved and
Absolutely.
so
Well, you're
covered
also
as
in there
well, like,
with the cast of Glee, and and but also right at the bottom of that list was Sara Bareilles. Now that's quite interesting. Fantastic.
Okay.
Have you ever? Obviously, she wrote The Waitress, didn't she? Now, have you ever thought about writing a musical? Is that on the radar?
I mean, today I was writing a musical. Yes, before this call, I'm actually writing 2 musicals.
Cool. You see.
So there you go. You got it. You hit the nail on the head. In fact, the producer of one of the ones, said that she was reminded of Sara Bareilles when she produced Waitress, and she heard "She Used to Be Mine" from Sara Bareilles singing it, and she had this spine tingling feeling of like, this is going to be good. And she said she felt that same thing when I sang a song recently for the show. So that was a nice compliment to be compared to her, because she's obviously a big hero, and that show is amazing. My parents and I saw it actually. I think it was last year. But yeah, I mean, I've been writing a musical now on and off for the past 7 years, so I've been doing it a while. But it just takes a long time to make it happen. It's just a musical is really expensive, and you kind of need a lot of partners to make it happen. But I think we at the stage where we're almost ready to announce an actual performance of it. So watch this space.
Does it, having sort of been involved in that now and doing that, does that give you kind of great admiration for some of the great musical writers who have written musical after musical after musical? Because I mean, it's quite a feat, isn't it? Really, to
absolutely.
Love him or hate him, whether you like Andrew Lloyd Webber's musicals or not, to be that prolific in actually quite a difficult, form of music is quite a thing,
Absolutely, I know. I mean, I absolutely agree. And when you kind of you see the finished product of these things, but you don't see the many years that have gone into it before, and all the different versions and workshops and I don't know, producer fallouts and whatever else that might have happened along the way. And yeah, so I have a lot more admiration, especially having been going through that process. And I grew up with musicals, as I said. That was one of the things I'd be singing a lot growing up. My first professional gig was at 9. I was in Les Miserables.
Wow.
So my first paycheck was from Cameron McIntosh for £25. Not great, but it was just one per night or whatever it was. I can't remember what the fee was. And I was Little Cosette in Les Miserables up in Edinburgh in the UK tour. They got different kids from the different regions as they went around the country. And so I started off with musicals, so it makes sense in a way to be full circle returning to that, but as a writer, because that's what I wanted to focus on as writing, really. So yeah, it's exciting to be writing and to be hearing other people sing the songs and having it potentially have this life of its own that I'm not even doing every night myself, but actually it's happening in the background.
Well, here's the thing: you only need one, right? You only one musical. That's the thing that kind of sets you off,
Hopefully.
And look at the desire for musicals. This week, only this week, in the across the UK, thousands of people will be going to the cinema to see a certain film because it's wicked.
Very good. You thought of that one before, didn't you?
Oh, I don't know. So I write this stuff in the bath.
Well, it's funny you should mention that one because our show is also about witches. So very different though, but it is about witches too. So yeah.
Well, people love. Do you know what? I discovered that the other day actually, that on social media, if you write a post and you put the word witches in it does particularly well.
That makes sense. There's a whole hashtag of witches of
of
TikTok
absolutely.
Or something, witches of Instagram, all those. Yeah.
I had an artist that was on a couple of weeks ago, Power of the Witch, and I wrote the piece for it and put it up there and had, hashtags around witches and whatever, and boom, it just went absolutely ballistic. So at the moment, anything you write and put out about witches will just get really good traction. So there you go. You just want to start doing that now. Just get a few more followers in on the old witch vibe. Get them ready for when it comes out.
Absolutely, yeah.
What haven't you done yet then? that you is still big on the agenda on the life ambition side of things that you would really love to do.
Well, ridiculously, one thing I haven't done is actually release an album of original music.
Just get on with it.
Which is ridiculous. I know, get on with it, right? Because I've done lots of singles and EPs, and I've been working on this album that I'm going to release next year for a long time now with the producer I've been working with, and it's just taken an awfully long time. But so when I get that out, then I'll be feeling a sigh of relief that I've finally done that, because it's been a long time coming, and there's been a lot of delays for various reasons I won't go into. But
is that going to be the title of the album? Is that going to be the title? A long time coming.
A long time coming.
It's it. I mean,
that's a good one. Maybe it should be the subtitle. No, I mean, I've got the title is Throne, THRONE, like you're sitting on a throne.
Yeah.
Not like the toilet throne, hopefully. But a throne, because it's one of the songs in the album too, and I also just like the idea of the pun on that, being thrown as well, with a W, thrown, like thrown off course, because it has sort of been a journey being thrown a bit off course, and as sort of zooming out and the making of it. So that makes sense, and I'm also actually making a board game to go with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which will be a similar theme of being thrown off course, and it will be on a vinyl that you open up.
I was going to say it's like a gatefold vinyl type thing, etc. With counters.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, in the process of designing all that now, I'm trying to figure out the most practical way of doing it all. But yeah, that's also the plan for it. So, but first I got to just get the songs the songs are finished, but just the recordings finished and mixed and mastered. And to be honest, to do all of that, I need more budget, and so I've been trying to raise money for it and applying for funding and all these kinds of things you got to do. And yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah. You don't fancy taking the Kate Nash route, do you?
What's the Kate Nash route?
Well, you did. Have you seen she's been in the news all of this week because of doing OnlyFans in order to raise money for performing?
Oh wow! I did not know that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think she was on BBC News about it last night, etc. Good on her in a way to actually get out there and talk about it. But I think part of the point that she was making is that there's a lot of independent artists out there at the moment that people assume, because she rose to fame quite quickly with the first album and whatever. They assume that these people have got lots of money and that they make lots of money and whatever, and they can just afford to go and put a tour on or whatever. And she's pointing out that actually, it's not like that. And and that I don't remember a time in history actually when anyone's been allowed to put their bottom on the
BBC.
on the BBC News in stockings in order to talk about such a serious issue. But obviously that's extreme and going out there and one way. But and Lily Allen talked about it recently as well, doing a similar kind of thing. But I think it is highlighting, if there's a good point of it, I think it's highlighting the fact that a lot of artists have to do other things in order to make money, in order to bring their money in. And people don't realize that.
Yeah, so, especially when they have a bit of fame as well. You think, oh, they've made it, so that's fine. But no, I mean, I had a record deal when I was 17, and so I have a little bit of that kind of experience of being in the machine a bit, and then not being in the machine, and it doesn't necessarily set you up, just because you have that one deal or whatever. It's not like that's it for life, In fact, sometimes it works against you in a weird sort of way. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think at a very
totally
different
empathise.
time, if you came from a very different time, it might have done. You know,
Mm.
I mean, some of the bands that I followed through the 80s, which were quite a prolific, you know, time for album sales and things like that,
Mm.
then they probably amassed enough. If they were sensible, they amassed enough
Mm.
money
Mm-hmm.
to put into the infrastructure to build a big fan base. And if they were clever and they were early adopters of the internet, they managed to hold that fan base. And that's what has, you know, allowed them to be as creative as they are and whatever. But anyone, especially any young artist starting out now, whoa, you know, really, really hard slog. Mind you, it was hard back in my day. I mean, that full transit van was a nightmare. We had to push it most of the time. It was always falling to bits, always breaking down on the way to the gig. We're going to be 10 minutes late. Sorry about that. The carburetor's gone. You know.
Oh no! Oh, so you were very much a traveling, touring band, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What? Tell me more about that. I haven't really found out.
I love it when people turn it around and they start interviewing me. That's my best kind of conversation. So I was in a band, a signed band in 1992. Way back then. You weren't even born. But yeah, way back then, and cool. Yeah, we were called the Colourful People, and yeah, we were. I found the other day, interestingly, I found a scrapbook with like old gig posters on, and yeah, shows you the cost of inflation, folks. Some of those gigs, they were £1 to get in. You can't get into a gig for £1 now, mind you. It was 50p a pint back then as well.
There you go. Well,
but
yeah. No wonder everybody became alcoholic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to get a little shout out, by the way, to anyone that's listening. If you knew anyone that was in a band called the Sunflowers, or you were in the band the Sunflowers, do get in touch, because I noticed that that probably more of those posters than any others, we were supporting the Sunflowers. And I just wondered what's happened to you. You know, where did you go?
Oh wow!
What great name for a band, though.
The Sunflower, and I like the Colourful People with the sunflowers. That has a really nice, colourful poster. You know.
Yeah, it's really funny. Great. I haven't got it right on me now. I'll share a photo with you afterwards of this. It's actually on the My Music website. There you go. You can go. Everyone can go and have a look at it on the My Music podcast. I keep forgetting to tell people this. mymusicpodcast.com, the website now exists. There's a photo of me when I was in that band, and our record company thought it was a really good idea to do all of the promo photos in black and white. We're called the Colourful People. God's sake, what are you on about?
That's hilarious.
I had hair that was kind of sedlong, and the majority of the time it was like 15 different colors. I used to like buy those spray colorings and literally just color it all different colors. And then you look at this photo and it just looks looks like black and grey and whatever. So yeah, completely wasted. There you go. So it sounds like 2025 is going to be a really big year for you. Oh, I had an idea. I always have ideas for artists when they're talking about what they're doing, because I run a marketing business now. It's cool, right? I come up with crazy ideas for people. And I was just thinking, when you were talking about the gatefold sleeve thing and whatever, and I was thinking that you could find a way of continuing the game on and gamifying the game, right? So that maybe if people came to see you live, they could collect additional bonus things for the game.
That's fun. So like a kind of like expansion pack available.
Yes,
like
expansion packs are only available if you come to a gig. Yeah,
I like that. And like little figurines or something, that if you want the the special
Yeah.
banjo one, and you have to come to the gig.
Exactly.
That's great. I love that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're hired. Fine.
Do you know what I mean? I just feel like that pulls people in a little bit more. That just
I think you're right, and I think you're right. It's not just about the one and done thing. It's it's that kind of journey of continuing the story. I feel like I like the kind of concept of also maybe having the music punctuating the game as well. So it's sort of like almost like you're supposed to be able to hear it at the same time as playing, and like maybe something about a lyric can be like the answer to a question. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not maybe it's getting too complicated now, but there could be
what?
something.
And if you take the record, and you spin it backwards, like the old backmasking, it goes, and the answer is.
That's it. There we go.
Brilliant.
I don't know if that's even possible to do that in there, but that's quite fun.
I love it's that classic scene from Little Nicky. You seen that film? Yeah. Remember that film? Adam Sandler, where he plays the son of the devil, and he's listening to he's in hell with these couple of rockers, and they're going, they're listening to Ozzy Osbourne, and they go, oh yeah, Master of Darkness, he brings all these messages, and he goes, oh man, if you want to hear really good messages, you need to listen to Chicago. And they all look at him going like, Chicago, because it's like light listening. He puts on Chicago, if you leave me now, you'd never. And anyway, and then he starts back, and it's like, worship the devil, and it's like brilliant. I love it.
That's brilliant.
I know I didn't get the words right. It's been a long time since I've seen that film, but there we go. That's great.
Good. That's good.
So 2025, there'll be the album. There'll be some dates. You're gonna play some dates for us, yeah?
Yeah. I'm planning a bit of a tour, but I'm this year's been a lot of live gigs. I've done like 4 tours at this point, so I'm sort of next year. I'm going to be focusing more on getting the album out there and finishing it, doing some videos for it, doing the promo for it, and this game idea as well, getting that off the ground, as well as of course doing these musicals. So I'm trying not to overbook too much next year live, but I'll do of course some big like London show, like other various shows to like to launch the album and everything. And I've got a little bit of a tour planned in Germany as well. Cool. I also, in the early part of the year, I'm going to be continuing this tour I've been on already with 2 other artists, Holly Rogers and Ed Blunt. We're doing this 3 co-headline tour between the 3 of us, called the Big Bang Love Tour, which accompanies the song that we put out together called Big Bang Love. So we also have some dates coming up with us 3, and that's just been a lot of fun doing these gigs. What
can people expect to see if they go and see those gigs? Do you do that classic bit when you tour with other people? Do you do a bit where you play one of each other's songs? That's good. You've got to do that.
We should do that. You're right. Well, we do actually. We accompany each other's songs. So
but you should do one.
But we should actually sing. Yeah, that's a great idea. You are full of good ideas. You're right. What song by them? What of their songs would you like to do? Which ones would you do? They're listening now. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, so Holly does a song, called "Sinner," which is a lot of fun. Okay. It's quite complicated though, and quite wordy. So the whether or not I can remember how it goes is another question. But I'm singing and playing banjo on that one anyway. But I think so. I could probably do that one as a cover. And Ed, I don't know. He's got lots of good songs. I would probably do. He's got a song called "Love Always Finds a Way," which is really like a sweet song, and it's like kind of quite an optimistic song. He's a bit of a hopeless romantic, but a lot of his songs are kind of about his failed romances or his attempts at romances that never quite work out, or like dating apps and this kind of thing, but this is like a really sweet song, and it has a kind of quite uplifting chorus, and people sing along, and so I would probably do that one.
Well, I hope they listen to this, and I hope they then comment with which of your songs.
Yes, I'll send it to them.
I think that would
I'd
be
like to know
lovely.
what they would sing. Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely lovely.
It's a great idea.
Thank you so much for
yeah.
coming and talking to me today. We could have talked forever, but we won't.
Yeah.
No, because we'll leave people in. We'll leave people with some anticipation of when we do it again. Someday further down the line. Maybe come back when the album is out and we'll play the board game together. That would be marvelous.
That's a great idea.
We could have. I'll tell you what. We could have an online board game evening when the album.
I would love
it
that.
Could be like a
I'm
listening
a huge
party.
board game fan.
Yeah, listening party and board game party at the same time. Maybe
I
that's
love that.
maybe we need a good venue to do it. Albert Hall, something like that. That would be
great. Yeah, see if they're free. Yeah.
Actually, there's a cafe just opposite the Albert Hall. Maybe we'll do it in there instead, and then we can just pretend that we're going in the Albert Hall on social media. We're live here from the cafe that's opposite the Albert Hall.
They get the view of the Albert Hall. The Albert Hall gets the view of them. So.
Exactly. It's all good stuff. I wish you the best for Christmas. Have a wonderful one.
Thank you very much. You too.
Will you be playing us? Will you be playing us another Christmas song just before Christmas, or?
I do actually have a Christmas song planned to come out. I've recorded a new one I wrote with it.
It's almost like I'm in your head, isn't it? It's bad.
Yeah, it's very new. I have a little video and live recording I did at Metropolis Studios. I was given some free studio time because the students needed somebody to record to do a mix for. So I got the free studio time, which is very cool. So that will be coming out before Christmas, and it's called The Last Noel. And it's a little bit of a saddie, that one. I mean, River is also a bit of a saddie. Maybe need to do an upbeat Christmas song next time. But for now, anyway, for anybody who's wanting a little bit of a saddie, that's a nice one for Christmas. I do actually have another song I'm working on with a friend, which is a comedy Christmas song. So that might also come out before Christmas if we're organised about it. So yes,
a comedy
to
Christmas song. Yeah. No, we haven't had one of those for a number of years, have we?
Yeah, so I mean, this one is a bit of it's sort of Victoria Wood like. It's a kind of silly parody.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That kind of like a bit of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of Christmas song. That kind of comedy. A bit of fun.
Well, the great Christmas comedy song for me was "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree," wasn't it? With Mel Smith and. Kim Wilde. I think in a way we almost kind of need that. What you need to do is pair up with a famous comedian and see whether you can kind of bring that to life. We need that kind of back in the charts again.
I agree.
I'm still waiting for someone to do a great cover of I don't know whether you can actually, of Driving Home for Christmas.
Oh, I know. It's really hard to beat that one, though, isn't it?
It's such a great song. And such a great story behind it. Do you know the story behind it?
I don't know the story behind it. You have to tell me.
I'll tell you, but we'll wait until everybody's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
That
would just be between me and you. Folks, this has been the wonderful Daisy Chute. I hope you've enjoyed this interview. If you have, go and check out her music, because that's what it's all about. We don't just sit here and talk for the sake of, well, we do, but we enjoy it. But if you've enjoyed it, please do go and share it with your friends and family and everybody else. And have a wonderful Christmas. If you haven't got your Christmas tree yet, you better go and get them. They're selling out already all over the place. I don't know why they've started selling them so early this year. We will be back with more of my music very soon. Until then, from Daisy and me, bye for now.